Shit, there we go. What's happening?
Oh,
It's just the three of
what's
us
going
today
on?
so far. Hopefully, Jordy will be in a little bit. With the return of the shredded man, the shredded and tan man.
Mate, I'm feeling
The
pretty shredded at the moment.
the king of Australian classic bodybuilding,
oh,
highest placing pro.
so you couldn't even get under 90 today. You just had to hit 90 flat, eh?
If I had just gone back to bed for like 15 minutes and then
Yeah,
wait, I
probably.
would have been 89.9. But I was like,
I
you
would
know
have
what?
done that.
I'm pretty happy with 90 on the dot.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Hey,
I think
Phil.
that makes I think that takes it down to like 17 and a half kilos down since like peak off season.
It's good.
That's pretty good considering.
Yeah. Well, it's still what's that? It's still 6 kilos heavier or 5.5 kilos heavier than what I was at my lightest in the previous prep. So
Damn. That's
Yeah,
can't
fucking
complain.
shit. No shit, man.
yeah. You got a high
Definitely.
today?
Yeah, so today's the first day that we start loading up a little bit. It's
Yeah,
it's an interesting one. He's got me having like three low-ish meals, train relatively depleted, and then my final two meals are like basically two meals of 550 carb.
really.
Like not each, but in total,
Yeah, I
it's
was going
it's
to say,
like
yeah.
meal five is like 280 carb, and then I think meal four is like 270 or 280 as well.
Interesting. Do you know why he's doing that?
Not really.
Oh,
He was on a flight this morning, so because he's the best man at a wedding this weekend.
oh, yeah.
So I haven't really spoken to him, but yeah, the the difference between this show is that check-ins isn't until like 4 p.m.
Mhm.
on Friday, so we just have to be a little bit mindful of that, making sure obviously that I don't come in too heavy, but I should be fine. I think I weighed in at like 91.9 on for Legion, so and I made the height easily. Like I was 5'8.5", which is like 173.5 or point 0.9
I
centimeters or
noticed that
something.
when you sent me the sheet, I was like, fuck, like you've cleared it by like a decent amount.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
because they height you in properly. Like they don't crush your skull.
Yeah, yeah,
Like as soon as they feel like solid contact on the skull, they stop. Whereas
Yeah.
I feel like at some amateur shows, it's almost like they're trying to make you as short as they possibly can, and they'll push down until it's almost like they've fucking depressed your scapula,
yeah,
depressed your spine. Sorry.
yeah,
And it probably also flexes the actual arm of the measurement thing as well. So that's
Yeah.
down like a touch,
yeah,
which
Well, they
every
they
fucking
obviously
millimeter matters.
well they obviously want you to make the height.
yeah.
Yeah. You
It's
don't
in
want you
their
to be
best interest. But
prep.
I don't know who it was, but apparently there was a guy at might have been the Cali Pro where they were literally like pulling him apart to try and get him to make the height, and they made it.
Yeah,
So like they'll help you,
yeah,
if you're right on the cusp, because they don't really want you going and sitting in a sauna for 3 hours and having to come back and
Yeah.
fucking around with all that, trying to make weight.
yeah,
So that was good because that was stressing me out.
How
yeah.
much did you clear your weight cap by?
600 grams after to that. I had only consumed like maybe 1.5 liters of water on that day, but I'd still eaten a lot of food. Like my carbs were pretty high on the Friday before the show.
Do you
Mhm.
reckon you'll be lighter this show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Which,
I
with,
might not necessarily be lighter on the scale, but I'll be leaner because my
Yeah.
lowest weight this week was 800 grams lighter than my lowest weight last week. So,
yeah, so I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
but yeah, obviously the weigh-in's a bit later in the day, so I
Yeah.
might be I might be the same weight on the scale. But yeah, definitely
You know
leaner.
what you were on show day?
Yeah, I think I was just under 91 first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Do you?
Um,
Yeah,
but that was with a little bit of diuresis, so
yeah,
I was pretty dry the
yeah. I
morning
was gonna
of.
ask about that. Yeah. What was
Yeah.
the experience like? Like from obviously going through check-ins because you had check-ins and then you went to tan straight after. Hey, what was check-ins like as a professional? Like seeing everyone there. Obviously,
Oh,
Tarek,
man.
Tarek did your height. Hey,
Yeah, it was just run so smoothly.
Yeah.
We'll see what it's like this weekend at Oklahoma. So Legion's a center podium show,
Yeah.
and I can only judge by that one show, but I've heard really good things about center podium shows, and we'll see what it's like at Oklahoma. But the whole experience was like so smooth, getting the tan done. It was so efficient. Like the people were so friendly. The athletes, I was just blown away by how like friendly all of the other athletes were.
Yeah.
Like Andy and I, as soon as I walked in, Andy saw me and like we just started chatting for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then obviously we sat down and they just gave us the rundown and we checked in, and I think we were in and out in like less than 30 minutes probably.
Yeah.
And then tans were done really smooth. On the day of the show, they were very good at touching up tans backstage because I don't know if you guys know this, but my skin just is like a sponge.
Yeah.
So they'll put the glaze on, and then a lot of people just need one coat of glaze, and they're good. Within 10 minutes, my skin's just absorbed that glaze and it's pretty much gone. So
Really?
I'm pumping up. I'm like, fuck, I'm going dry again.
Yeah.
So I need to jump out of line. So but it was like 5 steps between where you're pumping up versus where you're getting your tan touched up. So I was like halfway through doing some like chest flies or whatever, and then I'm getting more glaze done. And she's like, holy shit, yeah, your skin has just absorbed this glaze. Yeah. But yeah, the girls and the guys at the tanning booth were just like spot on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't really speak highly enough of the way that the show was run too. It was really good. What I found interesting though is that there was no judging at finals. They had already judged based on the pre-judging. So I don't know if that's just a Legion thing.
Yeah, I thought that was a shame as well because we expected obviously I watched prejudging and finals, and we obviously expected when they called you out again. It's because they called you out in a call out as well. That's why I was like, oh, cool, they're going to judge these guys again. But they just had you out there for a second, and then they just did your pose down.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the same for every classic pro show. I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, no, it was. I think it was like relatively close between Andy and I, but you could just see that he just had a little bit more muscle maturity, you know.
Yeah.
And he was just that little bit more polished.
Yeah.
And it's pretty undeniable when you compare some of the shots. Like I back myself on my shape and whatnot, but he's a lot denser, you know.
Yeah, I think we like discussed it, obviously when we did the potty on Sunday night. It was just like probably like more of like it was just like overall like finish of him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like he's obviously done a run of pro shows before. Like he also knows what to expect as well. Like it's a different thing, you know?
Yeah, is this not his debut season, hey?
No. So I think he can't remember if he said he competed last year or not, but
yeah, he got 8th in Legion last year.
Yeah, like he was a bit off it last year in his debut season, and then he went back, obviously worked on what he needed to work on, and he's very complete now.
Yeah.
Like with the tools that he's got, he's maximizing his potential very nicely, and he's obviously a front runner again this weekend. So, but man, I didn't expect Oklahoma to be so stacked.
No shit.
Yeah. Man, all these people coming out of the woodwork, man. It looks like everybody that was either looking at doing Toronto or Oklahoma were like, nah, too many good guys are going to do Toronto.
Yeah.
Let's just do Oklahoma. It's going to be my ticket to the O. And now there's fucking like 15 really good guys doing it.
It's crazy because Toronto's so quiet now.
Yeah, it's going the opposite. It's like everybody had that same idea.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, there's like multiple in America as well, but
yeah.
Because last year Oklahoma was quite a small show.
Yeah, I think it was like 7 or 8 guys.
Yeah, it was tiny.
Because Robert Timms won that show last year.
Yeah.
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 Is that the show that Matt did or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't expect it. Like I saw the lineup and I was like, holy shit. Because they have like a Masters section as well where they'll do Masters only. So I guess they'll qualify for the Masters Olympia if they win that.
I saw that on the list with the little star next to it. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
It's all the Masters competitors.
Yeah. I don't know if that means they're doing both or they are just lumped into that class into that sheet just for the sake of it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm not
sure.
But man, it's gonna be a good weekend for you again. It's gonna be exciting. It's more experience anyway.
Well, yeah, and it's just more data because we're going to be a little bit leaner and a little bit drier. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out on stage, whether that produces a better result. Not so much from a placing standpoint, but just from a look. Obviously,
Yeah,
the placings are going to be different because there's like double the number of athletes.
yeah. Yeah, be interesting because like I said to you yesterday as well, it's not about that. It's about improving, and you'll know that you've already improved from last week, so it's all you can ask for, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man,
And
I'm
that's
already
that.
like
You've been,
in my eyes I've already won. Like I just wanted a first call out in my
Yeah.
debut season.
yeah.
Like,
And now you've been
and
seen as well, man. Like
that's
so
what I said
many
to
more.
that's what I said to Josh. It's like the debut season is just about being noticed.
Yeah.
And I've already done it, so pressure's off in a sense. And I was nervous as fuck on the day. Like I didn't think I'd be that nervous, but I just think I had grasped the fact that there were so many people from Australia, especially watching me. Like I had my family up in the middle of the night, and I didn't necessarily expect them to do that. They're all like in a group chat, like yapping away, watching me at like fucking, I don't know what time it was over there, middle of the night. And yeah, just plenty of other people that have decided to follow along in the journey. And I was just like, holy shit, there's a lot of people fucking watching me here. And yeah, I was nervous as hell. But there was like having Andy backstage was great. But Kirk as well, he was third.
Yeah.
Kirk and I are going to head out for dinner after the show on the weekend. He was like a bodybuilding dad backstage.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like so calming. His presence was just like unreal, and that helped me a lot backstage because I was like fucking freaking out, you know.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. The whole day still feels so surreal. So that's why I was saying to Hannah yesterday, I was like, it'd be good to kind of chat about it because it was over in a flash, and there's so many things that I probably only to speak about again just to like relive.
Yeah. It's good.
But
It's
yeah,
funny as well because as someone, Jake will say the same. Like we've both seen you on stage a number of times, obviously, and we've seen you be nervous as well, and we know what that looks like. But like you didn't look. Yeah, I know you said you felt nervous, but you didn't look anywhere near what you had been in the past. You know,
Mm,
which was impressive. Which it was good to see. It was
yeah.
well,
like
yeah,
you came out and I was like, oh, like he looks like he's like he's there. You know
You
what I mean?
should be
Like,
there. Yeah.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I just think it comes down to preparation. Like you can be nervous, but if you are prepared, then how far can you really slip, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
And I think for me, I get more nervous about being on stage by myself.
Yeah,
So like,
that's where you rush through the routine a little bit. Like, don't hold the poses as long as you should
yeah, well,
have.
we were told that we had 15 seconds for our individual introduction.
Oh,
So not your routine. Your routine you can go for I think as long as 90 seconds. Mine was like just under a minute. But your introduction routine, which is usually like 30 to 45 seconds, we were told 15. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I'd been practicing for about 40 seconds. And luckily for me, I think I was last or second last. So I was just kind of like seeing what the guys in front of me were doing. And they were just taking their, like, some of them did rush it and it was like 20 seconds. And I was like, fuck, I'm not going to cut it that short, you know?
yeah,
I don't know why they said 15 seconds. That was the only thing that was a little bit confusing on the day in terms of the way that it was run because they didn't seemingly have an issue with guys going overtime. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll just do what I would normally do, but I sped it up a bit. So that's why I think there were some people saying, like when Gilco posted that video, oh, like looks great, but like hold the poses longer. I'm like, well, we
yeah.
were told 15 seconds, you know, like I hit my front relaxed and then immediately switched into a side chest or whatever. But I was just glad to get through that fully unscathed and it looked good. And I got a sick video from Gilco. So I'm like, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah.
that's all I wanted, you know.
It's good, man.
Yeah, got my money's worth, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And then photos you got fucking awesome as well.
Dude, I got like 80 photos.
That's fucked, eh?
Yeah, and there
I
was
was
only
thinking
like
today, I was like, your profile picture is still from when you competed in fucking 2022. You need to change that shit to a Gilco picture now.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, I do need to do that.
Got to be done now that you've got them.
That was fucking 4 competitions ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But no, the whole day was just great, and I was like, I'm still overwhelmed by how many messages of support that I'm getting from random people in Australia, other athletes, other pros,
mhm.
overseas pros as well, like starting to follow along. And yeah, I do think there is a step up in mindset from like amateur bodybuilding to pro bodybuilding. I do think pro bodybuilders are a little bit more, especially in the classic division, maybe not so much in men's physique, because I've heard that men's physique can be a bit clicky.
Yeah.
But certainly in classic, like the camaraderie and the support that you get from the other athletes, it's unreal.
Yeah.
And yeah, it makes like losing or placing behind someone doesn't affect you as much in that way, because you're like, I just want all these other cunts to do well, you know,
Yeah. Because I
because
think
they're all just good people.
once you're actually a pro and you've competed, X amount of times as an amateur, you realize that no matter what the fuck happens on the day, nothing you do can change that outcome. So
Yeah.
you just gotta hope for the best, do everything you can, and rock up and let the judges decide. How can you be really that upset over somebody else who beat you, Like it's bodybuilding. It's not like I saw a post that Jordan did today, and I was like, this is 100% so true. Like you can do everything that you need to do, and everybody else on that stage has done the exact same thing. Why would you be mad at them? Like you're all doing the same shit. It's not up to them who wins or loses. It's the judge.
Yeah.
Like I just never understand those guys who just get so pissy about placings. Like, get pissy about how you looked because how you looked matters far more than the placing. Like, yeah, I don't know. Does my head in.
But,
No.
but but also at that point, when you've been competing for years and you've made it as a pro athlete, you realize that it is just you against you.
Yeah.
And like I had already won before I even stepped foot on the stage from a bodybuilding capacity, because I'm like, well, I'm probably a little bit leaner than what I was last time, if not the same, and I'm 5 kilos heavier.
Yeah.
So that's a win,
Yeah.
and that just comes down to obviously just controlling what you can control at the end of the day.
At that point, it's like I said to you as well. Like the progress is inevitable. Like you, like at that point, you can't second guess whether you've made progress or not from when you last competed, because it's so
Yeah,
visual. Like it's and not even visual, but in the data as well. That like it's just going to prove you wrong if you try and disagree with it. You can't disagree with being just as lean, if not leaner, but 5.5 kilos heavier. You know.
yeah. But in saying that, prep does play some mind games on you, and you do find yourself second guessing yourself. And I sent Dean a video. I think it was Friday, the day before the show. I was just doing like a very light pump sesh. That was the photos that Bodybuilders Without Borders posted.
Yeah.
And he was like, if this doesn't get you excited, nothing will. And I was like, yeah, it did. I was like, I do look pretty good. I was like, I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. You know when you know. Like, when it's on, it's on. You just fucking know.
Are you
And
gone?
I was going to say, something that's very underrated is having the ability to know where to stand in relation to a light to make yourself look half decent. Like some people don't know how to utilize downlights to their advantage,
Yeah.
and they're taking check-in pics in dog shit lighting, and they're feeling shit about themselves because the lighting's not doing them any service whatsoever. And I've made those mistakes before in the past, and I'm like, I'll rock up to like an Airbnb and I'll take some check-in pics, and I'm like, fuck, I look like shit,
Yeah.
But
It can change your whole physique, hey? It can change how
oh,
you view it, like massively.
Just with the flick of a fucking switch,
Hey,
bro.
like, bro, I have no arms, my back shit, like everything changes.
completely. But then also knowing sometimes there is just nowhere available in the apartment or in the house to take a good photo, and then you just have to accept that you're not going to look good, but that's not the reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been lucky that the lights here have been good, and I think actually all the places I've stayed at, I've managed to find somewhere half decent to not make me depressed looking at my check-in pics.
It's good.
What have you been doing in the places where you're staying at the moment? Just like
What have I
there.
been doing?
Yeah, during the day, like if you're fucking bored.
Man, Tulsa is not very walkable. So like you have to pretty much drive everywhere. There's nothing really like there's barely any footpaths. So you find yourself walking on the road because like I still need to get steps in. Couldn't really justify getting a car
Yeah.
because the lifts here, it's called Lyft. Like it's basically the same as Uber.
Here he is.
It's like $10 for like a 10-minute ride.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? Continue.
Versus like a daily fee of like $100 for a car.
Yeah.
So we're just getting lifts, and there's not really that much to do.
Yeah.
But I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just taking it one day at a time at the moment. I just wake up, do some steps. There's a treadmill downstairs at this place I'm staying at. It's just like a big apartment block. Go grocery shopping, try and spend as long as I possibly can walking around the aisles in the grocery store. And then try and push my first meal back as long as I possibly can at the moment because I'm fucking starving. Dean actually dropped my food down lower than it's ever been the entire prep. I've always been like, oh, it's been so nice having to eat, 2,800 calories as my lowest intake, and then he went and dropped it to like 24. And he took out the cereal from my final meal, and he halved my bread. And I was like, no.
Oh no!
Taking out the cereal would have fucked you right off.
It did, but I think taking out half my bread was even worse.
I don't know if you saw bread overtaken cereal as a favorite food, do you reckon?
Yeah, because the bread here is fucking phenomenal. It's like so light and airy. Because I was having 120 grams of bread with my breakfast throughout the entire prep, basically.
Yeah.
And like if you slice that thick shin, if you slice that shit thin, you can make it look like 200 grams of bread, and it's like fucking unreal. You're sitting there for like half an hour just munching on bread. It's unreal.
Are you after this weekend, are you going down to Texas?
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Like Dean sent me a message earlier. He just wants me to take a couple of days to be normal.
Yeah.
So we'll have a couple of free meals, do some fun stuff around Dallas, and then get back into it because I'm feeling like I'm feeling super burnt out right about now. I was like dreading jumping on the podcast because I'm like I can't even fucking hold a conversation. But
yeah,
yeah, looking forward to getting the second show done and then taking a small break and then peaking for a third time.
Yeah, you got 2 weeks between the next one, hey? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
At least you get a little bit of a mental break then.
Yeah, and then we'll have two sets of feedback to take into consideration because the feedback after Legion was very brief. Like Tarek was fucking like up against it with competitors, flocking to him for feedback after the show. So he only really chatted to me for like just over a minute, but he was very he was very nice with what he said. There was just like he just basically said just a bit more detail through the mid back and that's just about it. Like he was very complimentary towards my size and my presentation, so that was good.
Yeah.
And just a bit more mid back detail. So what can we really do there? Like we can potentially tweak the pose marginally, and we can maybe come in a little bit harder and then prioritize pumping the mid back up a little bit backstage and seeing how that affects the look as well. But for me, like you see my back when I open it up, like there's just so much fucking width there.
Yeah.
It's like my chest. It's taken me years to get a half decent chest because there's so much area to fill out. So it's just going to be about, just getting a little bit bigger and a little bit denser in the off season, just adding that density through the mid portion of the back. So it actually does stick out a bit harder.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because
it's going to come with time and how long the muscle sits on you, obviously.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the stream? I've heard it was pretty decent.
Fucking good.
Very good. Yeah.
I had no issues. Yeah, no issues at all. It was, I mean, at first we were like a bit worried because it wasn't like loading when it was said it was going to load. So it was like 10 minutes where it like wouldn't load and it would just have like nothing there. But then it ended up turning on like halfway through fucking the figure um, comparisons. And
Oh,
then
that's good.
it was good. It was good timing. Yeah. So, but you're at the fucking last of the list with you being an S. So I had to wait for ages anyway.
Did you see what Hannah actually did it for me? She was like, oh, she put up that what's 10 plus 9 fucking meme
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
number. I had so many people messaging me saying like 21's a really lucky number or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know if that's a thing or not. I've never heard of that before. Or
So
maybe it is just literally because of the what's 9 plus 10?
maybe. Man, it's good. It's fucking exciting, dude. Like, it's going to be another good weekend. Some more data, more fun. Was it fun
Yes.
being up there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that was up there with the most fun I've actually had on stage. Like especially the pose down.
Mhm.
Because you're like, fuck, you're posing on a stage with 9 or 10 other IFBB pros
Yeah.
with, someone like Tarek sitting in front of you on a dope ass stage in a city that you would otherwise probably never go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just like, this is just all fucking really cool. You
Yeah.
know, like that's something that I've always really liked the idea of, which is just going to places that you wouldn't otherwise typically go to and just seeing how regular Americans live. It's not like we're in Vegas or we're in, New York or anything. Like we're in Reno of all places. It's super random. And yeah, it was fucking just very, very surreal.
Cool. Good
Did
shit.
you guys do you guys get many questions?
Yeah, I got a couple.
I didn't get any. How are you, Jordy? You haven't said a word.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry for my tardiness. Nay just rocked up.
Yeah. How is she?
Yeah, she's good.
I told her we were going to do a podcast. She was like, maybe I'll jump on. She said that to Tom as well, but obviously not.
Yeah, I don't think she's home in time.
No, I think so. I don't like her chances.
Nah, neither.
No. Oh,
Yeah, I'm good, man.
are you going to be training with each other twice a week? Getting huge.
Yes.
I put on 1.7 kilos in the last 3 days.
So
Whoa.
yeah, yeah. Fuck, I need to up my game. Need some of that shit.
Ready? How do you deal with fatigue, mental and physical?
Ah,
Here's a good one to answer that right now. I don't know where he is. It looks like he's fallen over.
Yeah, he's very fatigued right now.
How do you deal with how do you deal with fatigue, mental and physical, Tom?
It's actually a very good question and nicely timed because I had a bit of a weak moment the other day when I woke up and I sent Dean my check-in. And so we had just run a low day. And in my head, I was like, all right, we'll just do one really low day. And then he'll start topping me up from Wednesday. And I was kind of bummed out initially when he was like, all right, running another low day. And like to the point where I was like genuinely like fucking sad because I had created this expectation in my mind that we were going to start loading. So I was like excited for Wednesday,
Oh man.
And then I think I sat on it and dwelled on it for about 10 minutes. I think I sent a message to Hannah and I was like, all right, I've had enough of being a bitch. Like,
You're more of a man than me.
yeah, I was like, that was fucking weak. Don't let me do that again. She was like, I wasn't going to let you do it anyway. Like, I was going to give it like half an hour and then I was going to pull your head in because you're being a bitch.
Yeah.
But you have to just embrace it, really.
Yeah.
Because for me, it sounds easy because like I'm in a position where I'm very fortunate. I'm fucking in a different country competing with other pro athletes, living the dream. And I was just like, there is so much to be grateful for right now. Why am I being such a pussy?
Yeah.
Because Dean's kept me calories down for 2 days. And then what was the actual question? How do you deal with like mental fatigue?
Yeah.
Mental and physical.
Well, the physical fatigue is like
You need to
That's
learn how to separate the two as well, because a lot of people can't, especially those first getting into like a competition prep, like especially those doing their first competition preps. I think they'll find it hard to separate that,
Yeah.
Like they'll correlate the two very, very easily without thinking about things a little bit more. As soon as things start to get a little bit difficult, maybe they're a little bit sore, they'll start to kind of go down a little bit of a rabbit hole and they'll run with it. Whereas like in reality, like there's the physical signs, like sorry to cut you off, Tom, but the physical signs, I would say, and the stuff that I kind of run with clients as well, like training performance is going to start to decrease if legitimate fatigue is really there. Training performance is going to go in the shitter really quickly. Sleep's probably going to go to shit as well. There's going to be a number of things that pick up physically that are going to be a good sign that you need to manage things a little bit better, whether you're in prep or in off season. And I think that's very, very different to mental fatigue,
How would you say
Yeah,
something could differentiate the two, though?
How to differentiate. I would say, like I said, the physical signs are such a big thing. Like mental is going to be more so like not wanting to do things or feeling miserable about things or just feeling so like mentally burnt out of things. But that doesn't mean that you can't, just because you mentally feel burnt out, I don't think that means you can't physically push on to something, That might be a chance for you to be like, cool, I'm going to show myself that I can do this. It's like, Tom, like it's all good. Like I'm just going to push through this and it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like
But at the same time, like, don't search for the fatigue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's huge.
Don't look for a problem that isn't there. Like, you'll know when you are physically fatigued. You'll feel
You're hit by a fucking truck.
Yeah.
yeah.
You'll know when you're mentally out of it because it's not like it just lasts an hour or you might have just one day. That shit will be consistent.
I saw this on Destiny's story the other day or the other week or whatever it was, where she said that her first prep, everyone told her that, prep was super, super hard. So that when she went into this first prep, she was like, oh, I'm fucking searching for that feeling, like I'm waiting for it to come. And it's one of those things where it's like, just like, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like just when it gets hard, you'll know, like don't search for it. Don't,
Yeah, that's the worst thing. We've said it, I'm sure we've all said it too, that like prep's hard, you're going to feel X, Y, Z. But like people then take that as gospel that then if they're not feeling that, then they're not doing it right. When that's not the case, an idea of a good prep is you not feeling that for as long as possible. Like Tom's had a really good prep because he hadn't felt that until now.
Yeah, and a lot of people will over exaggerate that and like really lean on that as a crutch to just be a piece of shit as well. Like
I think the most important thing that you can do to manage physical fatigue actually comes before you start prep by managing and structuring your off season properly.
Yeah.
Because if you're starting prep in a position where you need to pull 20 kilos of fat, let alone weight, what you need to do to get from A to B is going to be extreme, and you will therefore feel a lot worse than you should need to feel.
Yeah.
So, and for me, this is, obviously what Dean's taught me is, and this covers everything, minimum effective dose for everything, whether that be drugs, whether that be food, whether that be cardio, always trying to get the most from the very least until that is not enough, and then you move. So just pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until you fucking fold isn't going to feel good, and you're going to feel like shit physically and mentally. And that's when it starts to, obviously the two kind of will eventually go hand in hand, because you're physically pushing the limits and you're not getting the outcome or the result that you're expecting. So then you're going to feel shit mentally.
It goes the same.
But
go.
No, but that was basically it. Just make sure that you're starting prep in a relatively optimal position.
I was going to say even to extend on that, even not in prep, like I would still say in the off season, like minimum effective is always going to be best. Try and stay on the least amount of food possible while growing on that food. Like I've been there before, where more food doesn't equal more energy. It often leads you to just hitting a fucking wall, And you're going to hit fatigue real fucking quick if you're smashing food in. I've done it. We've all done it. You know what I mean? Like getting to that point. Again, with drugs, it's one of those things where if you keep smashing drugs, it doesn't mean you're going to be less fatigued. It's probably going to fuck you up even more. You know, like all these things are stress on your body. Eating more food is a stress. Doing more drugs is a stress. Doing more is going to be a massive impact on you, you know? Even if you think that, you know, oh, more drugs and more food, it means better recovery. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know? So...
It's pretty spot on.
Next question.
Wisdom.
Well, yeah, I mean, and just to quickly touch on that as an example, I haven't used Clen now for like 5 weeks.
That helps
Like
a lot.
it could have been helpful perhaps, but then like the last couple of months or so, my sleep has started to deteriorate. So we decided that, look, I've still got calories up my sleeve here. Why would we keep using something that's going to negatively impact my sleep and my recovery when I can just pull food down a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Josh?
My fucking
Jordy's
camera just go
camera's
nuts.
moving every time he fucking moves. Can you stand up? That's crazy. Surely you could turn that off.
I can't find a setting for it.
Did you get any or Jake?
Has training so intensely benefited you more or less overall, socially and mentally?
I don't know how training's going to affect you socially.
I mean, I've made some good friends from training.
Yeah, people come up to me and say, "Yeah, you're a sick cunt because you train like a mad dog."
Yeah, same. That's about it. And mentally, it stops you from feeling like shit. So
Yeah.
that's two positives, I would say.
Makes the world go silent for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, that was, I'm sure many people can relate to this. Like that was the sole reason why I started lifting in the first place, was because I was depressed.
Yeah.
So, and I actually feel it too. Like if I have a full week off from training, the first 3 to 4 days are like brilliant. And then by the end of the week, I'm like, fuck, I'm starting to feel depressed again. I need to get back into the gym.
I said it to Josh when I was going back to my first session after like coming back from surgery, and just waking up that day knowing I was training. Sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's like I could hear the birds chirping again.
No shit. It really is like that, eh?
It'd be like that.
Sexual hormones through prep and general.
Prep non-existent.
Yeah, non-existence in
general.
in prep.
If I brush my hand across my pants at all throughout the day, I have a massive erection.
Yeah, that's pretty spot on too, actually.
What was the actual question?
Not in prep is a good time, and if you're in prep, say goodbye to your sex life.
Yeah.
At what point does it get like that though for you? Like,
oh, dude, I'm already less horny for sure now.
Really, I'm like 8 to 10.
Nah, I'm an early burn.
Really?
I can already be cool to not fuck for the rest of prep.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's fucked. I feel so bad.
Last prep, I like was forcing myself to have a wank.
Just to make sure it will still work. I've done that many times just to make sure I can still do it if I have.
Please come back. Please come back.
You're still there. I know you are. Come out.
Yeah, it does actually get like that.
But when you haven't for so long, it actually hurts.
Yeah.
Like a cramp, bro.
Bro, it's like it goes from feeling like the most amazing feeling to like the most excruciating pain that you may experience. But yeah, usually it's like 12 weeks out. 12, sometimes even 14. Like I'll feel it going down from like maybe even like 14 weeks out, and then by 10 to 12 weeks out, it's pretty gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how Ian Valier is like, I'll fuck right before the show.
Bro, insane to me. That's
next level fatigue management right there.
Fuck, apparently.
True.
Because that's all it is. It's not our hormones. We got them.
Bro, when they're that big, they're not doing fucking anything anyway. Like they just have so much muscle. They're just relying on that to just burn all their fucking
There's some good questions.
Yeah, that was all the questions I got. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've already answered a couple of the questions. It was what was the feedback? We went through that. That was the mid back density and kind of just a bit more protrusion and detail through the mid back. Tyler asks the differences between competing as an amateur and as a pro treatment backstage, and I kind of already touched on that already. It is a step up, although I think we're pretty lucky in Australia with the way that those, especially nowadays, the way that the shows are run. It's quite similar.
I've heard some horror stories.
I was just going to say, I suppose the difference is the pro mindset versus the amateur mindset. Like amateurs typically are kind of in their own head and a little bit more like keep to themselves, and by default they end up being like a little bit less supportive. And I don't think they do that on purpose. They're probably just a bit like freaked out, whereas pros have been doing this shit for years and they're quite comfortable supporting others around them because they know what everyone else has had to do to be there.
Yeah.
But they do look after you a bit more for sure. Just even little things like I said about, when you got to make height and make weight, they want you to make the weight, because they're not fucking pushing that peg so fucking hard down against your scalp.
They do that here, don't they? They full push to the limit of how far it can go.
Yeah, like you can lay on an inversion table for an hour and then someone will fucking undo all that good work in 5 seconds by pushing down so hard.
Just recompress your spine again.
What's up?
Said just recompress your spine again.
Did you see the videos? I think I sent them to you of me hanging and stretching before.
Josh showed me them.
So funny.
Because I got to checking quite early, so I was like, "Oh, this is good." Saw this beam up there. I was like fucking Spider-Man just hanging.
Yeah, Hannah was legit recording you pissing herself, and you were like, "Fuck off." Wait, hang on. I'm gonna share this because I know we looked at these last week, but I want to go through them again. Yeah. Obviously, you just fucking posted this yesterday, but that's fucking crazy. See, for someone who says they struggle with holding glaze, it doesn't look like it there.
Yeah, it looks
because I was all over it.
Yeah.
And the tan was really good, very good quality.
Yeah. Do you feel like it was a bit of a different pro tan than what they use here, like a bit darker?
Well, it's called Martini Spray Tan. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing at Oklahoma. I think every pro show, or not so much pro show, but like Center Podium have their tanning team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't know I can't remember the name of the tanning team that Oklahoma use. I imagine it might be the same like tanning solution, but I don't know if the application will be the same. They use this like powdery stuff that they would kind of dust over you after you got the first and second coat, and that stops you from like sweating apparently.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you can see there what they mean with the mid-back detail. Like there's a lot of size and there's a lot of area there still to, be filled out.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a back contraction thing? Like, when you pull into like a back double, and if you I know you don't want to pull your elbows back too much because then you'll start closing it up. But if you just pull down maybe on your elbows a touch more, it might just...
Yes and no, because you can already see, even when I pull down, like there's still a lack of detail there anyway. Like even through the upper back, it is a little bit smooth. Can you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not a conditioning thing.
I think it's honestly a muscularity thing, maybe in your traps. And just
it's like like I said with my pecs, it's like it's taking me a very, very long time to fill that area out. I've always been very lat dominant, which is the opposite for most people.
Yeah.
Because comparing my back double with Andy's is like apples and oranges.
Yeah, your whole
I'm obviously a lot wider, but he's a lot more detailed. So it's like, fuck, who do you give this shot to? And then
I think that was the one that I had the hardest time on, and maybe side chest as well. But to be fair, our finals, the way you hit your side chest was nuts. I don't know what you did, or even if you noticed that you changed it, but it was small tweak and it made off. It paid a big.
I hit it with a little bit more chest up, and it's as per that story I put up a couple of days ago, just trying to make the waist disappear. Like when I nail the side chest, it can look pretty gnarly, but it's weird. My side chest and my back double are always the two poses that I've had to refine the most, always kind of tweaking them, and like they don't feel very natural at times, whereas every other pose is just like you just hit it,
Yeah.
But the other question here was, what's it like competing overseas with like PDs, food, and traveling? Well, man, I don't know how people do night shift, because it's taken me like over a week to adjust to the fucking time zone difference.
Really?
It has been horrendous. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, obviously the factor is just because I'm in prep and sleep is compromised already, but even Hannah's really struggled adjusting to the time zone difference.
Interesting.
But food is obviously very available here. Like you've got everything and some in the US.
Cycle.
Pardon?
This guy is sorry.
They're gone.
This guy's a client of mine, and I've already spoken to him about this before. He was like, he wants us to discuss Indian genetics in bodybuilding.
What do you mean? Oh, did you see the first Sikh, or how do you say it? Like Sikh, what is the qualification? He looks fucking crazy as well.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
really good.
But I think that's why because I think he sent me that guy, the classic dude, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you think of this guy's physique and his structure? And I'm like, this dude's fucking insane. Like, it's brilliant. And then he was like, what do you think of Indian genetics in bodybuilding in general? And I'm like, well, I would say generally not great, because if you just have to look at the number of IFBB pros who are Indian, like it's a very small sample size.
Turn the races real quick.
But then is that just down to the sheer numbers of athletes competing?
Bro, there's I reckon in India, have you seen them shows? They're huge, man.
Yeah, that's just it, but not in the IFBB. So that's what I was saying. I just don't think I've seen it because they're not in the IFBB, but I've seen plenty in ICN, and they're actually pretty good. And we've got a lot of Middle Eastern bodybuilders in the IFBB that are fucking crazy. So maybe that's just a misconception that Indians don't have good genetics for bodybuilding, because I don't know if it's necessarily true.
They just don't get good gear.
Yeah, but to be fair,
they're getting the raw straight from
there. They have like fucking 3 pro shows in India a year.
Yeah,
they have Sharu, and then I'm pretty sure that's in India, and then they have like 2 others as well.
I think they probably have different federations over there that a lot of them do. Because you see like the color of their tans and shit, and it's horrendously gold and it just looks crazy. If they did like NPC shows, but I just don't know how available those are in India. I know there is pro shows, but I'm not sure about amateur IFBB shows.
Good point.
Yeah, like there's lots in that Southeast Asian kind of area, but India specifically, I'm not sure. But there's plenty of Indians with fucking nuts physiques. Don't let your race or ethnicity stop you from trying to get huge, because you can get huge regardless of your fucking race.
What about ginger?
Yeah, there's plenty of
stay small forever. Fuck them guys.
Yeah, you have no soul. You can deadlift more.
I've heard Indians I've heard gingers just stay small forever.
Shut up, bro.
I'm bigger than you at the moment. I'm bigger.
Those angry genes. You got to use them for something.
I know we're talking about like different races and stuff at the moment, so I just thought of this in my head. I wanted to show this because this man is doing Toronto. Big.
How's the back looking?
He looks so much more balanced than before. He's like just still crazy, but he looks way more balanced.
Yeah, if you want to talk about races and genetics, Asian quads, like fucking.
Oh man.
Look at that. What do you mean, bro? That's crazy.
Outrageous.
But the thing is, though, is we've seen this before, and then it doesn't always translate on stage.
Yeah, but to be fair, he actually looks very
slight.
He does look good. I hope he wins. I love his physique.
He's not going to. He'll win the show, and he'll be outside of the top 15 again.
That looks pretty good.
That's what I mean. I want him to win the show.
Jordy, you're forgetting this man was 5th.
Yeah, in 2019.
Doesn't matter. Fifth is still fifth.
Yeah,
bro.
Bro, he was
came-
outside of the top 15 last year.
Yeah, he just
He
came
was,
to
he was,
Each
sorry,
year.
look, listen, he was fifth call out. I will,
The numbers don't lie. He has progressively gotten worse.
No,
I
he
don't
just
think
came
got
in
worse.
off every time, like just completely out of shape.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, that doesn't give me hope.
well, I mean, he did it once. He can do it again.
Yeah, facts.
All right, let's bet on it.
What are we betting?
Yeah, betting what?
Where does he place in the Olympia this year?
Probably not even top 10, but like
Top
all right,
15.
all right.
many other good guys now.
No. You boys are bigging him up.
Yeah, he's
Finding
great.
where your mouth
But
is.
there's people that
You
are
guys
great.
go top 10.
Nah.
Top 15.
I'm outside of top 10.
Yeah,
top
I say
15.
top 15. I'll
Top
give you
15.
that.
I'll
Yeah.
put money down that he's not even in the top 15.
Go on then.
Let's go.
I'm with Jordy.
Really?
Wow, what the fuck?
Unfortunately,
You giving up?
Unfortunately. Thanks, Tom.
no, it's not because of that. It's because I love his physique, but I just don't trust him to demonstrate it at the Olympia because it's not like since 2019, it just hasn't been done.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you see those laws and that, he fucking might not even be able to by the end of the year.
No,
No,
China's
he
still good, I think.
Yeah, for now.
Now.
yeah.
Also, actually, I read that it is professional athletes for professional sports exempt are allowed to travel.
I would imagine that's the case. That's usually the case with all of those countries.
What was that, Jordy?
They count bodybuilders as professional athletes.
I don't know.
Usually no, but Phil Heath was recognized by Donald Trump in the Oval Office. So surely that counts as something.
Mm.
You don't invite Phil Heath to the Oval Office and give him a...
Yeah, not just a beauty pageant winner.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, I like what you're putting down.
Yeah.
That's
Picking down what I'm putting up. Picking up what I'm putting down.
How did Hani did it all the time, right? Through the company, through Evogen, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why Hardy is still with him for this last year.
Yeah.
I reckon Hardy will retire after this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was arriving into San Fran, the people that were getting screened in front of us at security were getting hammered with just general questions because they've obviously increased their border security. And the lady was not impressed with the answers because they couldn't like conclusively say what they were actually doing in the US. So they had to be like not detained, but taken to a separate room for further questions. And then I was stressing because they just make you feel guilty, even though you're not, with the way that they will kind of antagonize you and ask you questions. And I was like, fuck, hopefully we don't get this lady. We got the same lady. And she was like, so what are you doing in America? And it was very like aggressive. And I was saying, we're going to Reno because there's a bodybuilding show. She was like, why are you in San Fran then? And I'm like, well, because it's like the closest major city to Reno. She's like, it's not close. And I'm like, what do you mean? Look at the map. And then I think she realized, and then I had to show her
an American.
I had to show her every single Airbnb that I'd organized.
What?
I had to tell her exactly what we were doing, for how long. It was pretty intense, man.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's extreme.
Yeah, big time.
I hope it's not like that.
But the people in front of us were like South American, and I'm just like, I looked at Hannah. I'm like, oh, thank fuck that I'm Australian, because it's like
white privilege.
Passport definitely helps.
Yeah,
true.
We say white privilege isn't real, but it is.
Yeah, 100%.
It was crazy because when we went in, we obviously went just before the election. We legit got to border security. I told you this, Tom, because we obviously spoke just after you got in, and the guy was just like, "What are you here for?" We were like, "Oh, holiday." He goes, "Nice, have a good time." Like literally let us through. It's the easiest thing ever.
Wow. Some people also just get a little bit of a power trip when they're controlling the American border.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Paul.
Oh yeah, this woman was like borderline yelling.
Really?
Yeah. What was she like? Was she like a fucking, Monsters Inc., the receptionist? Was she like
very? Yeah.
That's what
basically. I think she, from memory, she was a redhead. She was just like, I don't understand. Like, what are you doing here?
Like, bro, I'm here for holiday. Simple.
But in fairness, like, she was kind of just doing a job, and these people, I don't know what they were actually fucking doing there, because I'm like, like if you're going to another country, you would have an idea as to what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the good thing for me is I'd already rehearsed this because everybody had already asked me, what are your plans? And I'm like, well, I'm going to be here for a week, then I'm here for a week, and I'm here for 2 weeks, So I'd already kind of had the exact same conversation with people before.
Yeah.
But I was freaking out. I was like, fuck, hopefully I don't get this bitch. And then I did. And I was like, holy fuck. But after we arrived at the airport, we were in the Uber within less than 30 minutes.
It's impressive.
And that was after ordering something at Starbucks.
Oh,
San
wow.
Fran Airport is pretty easy, though.
It's really small.
Yeah, it's really small.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, mate, I can't believe it. 2 more shows. I'm excited for this weekend. Yeah.
I'm excited to go out for a burger a fucking Saturday night.
Yeah,
I bet, man. How long's it been since you've had a free meal?
Ooh. Probably at least a couple of months.
Mm.
And that free meal would have been like steak and rice.
Yeah, a tracked meal.
Probably.
What was the last untracked meal you had before prep, obviously, but like 6 months, 5 months?
Yeah, I'd say about 5 months.
Yeah. There you go, Pig. That's what it takes.
How are you feeling, Jake? Were you 14 weeks out?
Yeah.
13 this weekend?
No, 14 this weekend.
Oh, that's right. Melbourne's first. Yeah. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I hit a new low the other day, like 108.6.
Yeah.
And I was definitely feeling it that day. Like, I was just a little bit more hungry, a little bit more tired, a little bit more lethargic, but it was fuck all. Like, I still trained and was fine. I was dreading my training session after work, but went PBs, all good.
I felt that today as well.
At PBs, go to bed, wake up lighter, and then get a high day. It was great.
That's ideal.
Yeah. And looking pretty good. So I am not complaining.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
It is very.
Yeah, you're pretty lean for someone who's still 10, 11 kilos above the weight cap, which is good.
Mm.
We're going to be knocking on that door of the weight cap, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's the plan. A good at least 6-7 kilos up from last time, I reckon.
Fucking hell. Crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's what happens when you nail your off season, guys.
That's right.
Off season starts tomorrow.
Does it? I thought it already started.
Shut up, Josh. I've been in rehab for 2 weeks.
Oh, just taking it easy.
Just chilling,
Yeah. We'll be pushing it again from next Monday. Literally push.
Big push.
Yeah.
Enjoy being stronger than me while you can.
I will. I'm almost at 4 plates on the incline press, buddy.
Is that it?
Yeah. What are you doing on that?
Warming up. That's what I'm doing.
Jordy's exercising right now.
Warming up with 4 2.5s, mate.
All right, let's wrap it up there so you boys can head to bed.
I need to eat and go to bed.
Love you.
Lovely.
boys.
Speak to you soon.
Adios.
Bye.
Peace.
I'm gonna stop
Bye
this.
bye.